Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the February 8th, 2016 Village Board meeting. All meetings are held here at Village Hall on the second floor. If you have any questions or you'd like to call in, the number is 769-1677. We have two announcements. One is we want to wish our village clerk, Judy Weintraub, a happy birthday today, February 8th.
Excellent.
29 again, Judy.
Happy birthday.
Looking so good.
Thank you.
Hope you had a good day.
That's very sweet.
And also that our grievance night is February 16th, 2016, from 6 to 9 p.m. at Clinton Street Center. That is the Village Grievance Night, which is held on the the third Tuesday of February. The town grieves their taxes in June. You could grieve your taxes in June with the town, but the village taxes are grieved that night. We are, the village board sits as the board of grievance for the village. So we're required by law to sit there from 6 to 9 p.m. We're very friendly and cordial. You could come at any time, and but not past 9 o'clock, please.
Where will it be?
At the Clinton Street Center, and we'll look forward, hopefully, to seeing. Well, not really seeing anybody. Hopefully, nobody comes. No. And that's all we have for announcements. Anybody else, Stephen?
Good.
I do.
Okay.
On Wednesday, February 24th, Pleasantville Strong is doing a parent forum on marijuana. The title of our forum is Everything You Wanted to Know and Didn't Want to Know About Marijuana. We've got some people from the county and some people from Westchester Medical Center to come and talk about some of the issues pertaining to that and how it pertains to our kids. So we invite everybody to come. That's at 7 o'clock at the Mount Pleasant Library.
Great, thank you. Joe, you
No
have
announcements
anything?
tonight.
Patty, do you have any announcements?
I do not have any announcements. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll go right to our resolutions. Number 14, Steve.
Resolved that pre-check register dated February 8th, 2016, covering check numbers as to be entered later in the record, I guess. Right?
Why aren't they there? That's very strange. Okay.
Have been reviewed. You're going to...
Sorry about that.
Well, you can go by
Can't you
pre-check
just
register
read
pages.
yeah.
You can read the whole check register.
I could. Next week we'll be done with those. So we'll get the check numbers in a minute.
Check on the top of the pre-check register. There's some numbers. They're there.
82513 through 82534.
I don't have that on.
Handwritten.
Yeah, handwritten.
Oh, there they are. Right.
Oh.
Check register numbers 82513 through
Oh, on top of the check
82534.
register. Okay,
Thank
yes.
you. Have been reviewed and they are hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, the water fund, the capital fund, the refuse fund, the pool fund, and the trust and agency fund for a total of $384,446.28.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? No? All those in
Okay,
favor? Oh, yes, you have one?
Still,
Okay.
Well, it's more of an ongoing thing. The water main break. Is it? Are we getting any closer to having that wrapped up? I didn't see anything in here from that.
There are no third-party vendor payments outstanding now.
Oh, so we're done.
So we're finished.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What is it, 15, Colleen?
Whereas the village board previously adopted a resolution and a local law on May 11, 2015, agreeing to enter into an agreement with Sustainable Westchester and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents with respect to the Community Choice Aggregation Program in Westchester County, which would allow the village of Pleasantville to participate in a program with Sustainable Westchester to procure electricity from energy service companies for the residents of the village. And whereas the resolution authorized the mayor to execute any and all documents to give effect to the resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the attached memorandum of understanding in furtherance of the village of Pleasantville's participation in the CCA program, which is Community Choice Aggregation Program.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, comments?
I just
Questions,
I'm curious. There was a resolution on and then there was an amended resolution.
Oh, that was me, and I'll
the
tell you
amend-
why.
That's what I'm asking. Why there's a second part of the original resolution that's not included in the first resolution that would have authorized the mayor to execute the energy service agreement. I'm assuming it's because he doesn't sign that. That's signed by
Because it's
somebody
incorporated
else.
in the MOU already.
Got it.
Right.
It's one document with an exhibit instead of two separate agreements.
Oh.
So once the MOU is authorized, it automatically
Right.
captures.
And then the other issue
service
was that
agreements.
the local law that we passed was not in the other resolution. It wasn't,
No reference.
It
there's
wasn't
no
referenced,
reference to it, so I asked for that to be put in as well.
Thank you.
I have the mayor couldn't be here, so he asked me to read his comments. He said, "I am in Albany tonight at the New York Conference of Mayors legislative session, and am therefore not present to cast my vote in favor of the community choice aggregation. As should be clear from our many past discussions, I support this program. It provides our residents and small businesses with a new energy purchase option. It will produce savings for customers, and it helps to realize the right-minded goals of free market competition for consumer energy services. These benefits come with very little risk. Anyone who prefers not to participate can opt out before the program begins or at any point thereafter without penalties of any kind." Does anybody else have any comments? Because I have a.
Colleen?
I don't.
So I have not been in support of the community choice aggregation program on many levels. However, once it became the will of the majority of the board, I have spent many hours, as some people got a little annoyed with me at over the weeks, reviewing the many documents that came before us, the initial resolution, the local law that was passed, and now the MOA and the ESA, which was 42 pages long, all to ensure that our residents are protected and that the objective the board set out in the local law have been met. I thank Mike Gordon and everybody from Sustainable Westchester and our council, Eric Gordon, for fairly and professionally answering all of my litany of questions. I told them along the way that I had to consult an energy dictionary to figure out what the heck I was reading half of the time. And I really wasn't kidding. There is an energy dictionary. I never knew this before. However, I still go back to my initial concerns that this is an opt-out program, that the village has a pretty substantial role in the procurement of our residents and our commercial properties, energy purchases, and a huge responsibility to communicate effectively with our residents. I support the basic premise of offering savings to our residents, however small it may be, but I also support the residents' freedom to make their own decisions, not having to undo a decision their local government made for them. So a resident not too happy with the CCA program explained to me this way, and I just thought this was hysterical, but it was very true. He said to me, "It's like going to ShopRite, and you already filled my cart up. And I have to go back and I have to put everything back on the shelf and put in my cart what I really want." So I look forward to the accounting of the investment that we've made into this and the process to be laid out for us to execute our responsibilities. So with that being said, we had a second? Who seconded?
I did.
Joe
seconded. Do you want a roll call vote because I'm a no? Do
Sure,
you want to?
please.
Okay. So roll call vote.
Aye.
Patty, Judy will call you.
I'm sorry?
Judy will
You
call
pointed
you.
at me, though.
I know I did. I'm sorry. I threw you off.
And now we're going to take that back.
Yeah.
Take that out of your shopping cart.
Trustee Lord,
Aye.
Trustee Colin Griffin Wagon,
Aye.
Trustee Sturgiati,
Aye.
and Trustee Berard.
Nay. Okay, and the mayor cannot vote because he's not here. But
Right, his vote was
his
ceremonial, I
His
suppose.
vote, yes. So I should say that what was included in the packet for us was some of the numbers because we had passed the local law and a resolution, all of the data from Con Ed of the customers that aren't currently with an ESCO were released to Sustainable Westchester so they can put the numbers together to get the RFP out there for the ESCO. So when they released these numbers, they were interesting for the Village of Pleasantville, default customer, meaning those customers with Con Edison, was 2,134. 549 residents have already had their own ESCO, which they do on their own. And something I didn't realize that you could do, but 53 residents blocked Con Ed being able to give their information to anybody else. So it's interesting. And that was added to the other municipalities that have signed on to the CCA. They total right now, which I believe that the RFP will go out for 134,975 residents among, I think this is 12 municipalities. So that's what the information that we received from Sustainable Westchester.
Isn't this the list here with 20?
Yeah, is it 20?
Well, it is now.
Okay.
It was 19 on here.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then
Okay,
we
there you
just-
go.
if we
Okay.
voted in.
So that's 134,975. You said 20?
20
municipal-
counting Pleasantville, 20 municipalities.
No, that's not that list.
No?
No, it's this
What list are we
list
talking about?
on the right. Well, it's around there, somewhere around there. So, okay. Joe, 16.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the following unpaid interns at the Clinton Street Senior Center. Sarah McBride from February 1st, 2016 through May 13th, 2016. Tara Hanley, February 11th through March 31st. And Michelle Bassigne,
That's pretty good.
Very
February
good.
11th
Sounds
through
good.
March 31st.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Comments, questions? Anybody?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Thank you for
Yeah, glad that we can
do it.
for interning and volunteering and
That's right.
being a part of the team.
Okay. 17. Stephen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the following donation from Gail Swenson, $50 for the Clinton Street Senior Center, and from Bob Benza, $250 for park improvements.
Second.
Second.
Comments, questions?
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. And 18. Colleen, you're getting all the long ones tonight.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from the Pleasantville Volunteer Fire Department to hold their annual Fire Department Parade on Friday, June 3rd, 2016. And further, resolved that no parking signs will be posted on Friday, June 3rd, restricting parking from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the following locations: Memorial Plaza, Bedford Road from Martling Avenue to Marble Avenue, Manville Road from Grant Street to Grove Street, all of Grove Street, Edgewood Avenue from Washington Avenue to Grove Street and Washington Avenue, both sides from Edgewood Avenue to Manville Road, Romer Avenue. And further resolved that Board of Trustees authorizes the Police Department to tow all vehicles in violation of this temporary parking restriction.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? I have a comment. Last year, we had 2 events at the same time of this wonderful event, which is so much fun. People come from all over, and we
It's
had
the best event of the year for
It is.
for the village.
It's
It really is.
wonderful. They do a wonderful job. I'm very proud of our departments that show up. But we had the Reflection Gala in memory of Tina Shana Gambino on the same night. But that will be May 20th this year. They've already sent out save the date. So as soon as I got this, I emailed them and said, this is when the Fireman's Parade is. So 2 dates to jot down there. So Friday, June 3rd, and Friday, May 20th. Okay, so I did all in favor, right, Judy?
Yes.
Got everybody?
No, did we vote on this one?
Not for the
We
fire.
didn't vote yet.
No?
We seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't think anybody's
Let's have a
not going to vote
parade.
for it. I said no rain. There's never rain. only really micro
there's just
bursts of
hurricanes.
storms. Yeah. All right, 19 is
Me.
Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves a filming permit submitted by Abe's Headache LLC, authorizing the filming in Key Food parking lot beginning at 7 a.m. on February 13th and ending at 7 a.m. on February 14th. Said approval is subject to final review by the village administrator and the police chief. But I thought I saw that the chief already signed off on
Yeah.
this.
We circulated this out about a week ago. I mean, Abe's Headache gave us a big headache because they came in
Okay,
with a
just hold on.
very
Let me get a
ambitious
second
plan.
before you
Sure. Second.
second? Okay, all right, go ahead.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. as they say, they're a low-budget production company, but they are going to do a full-length feature film called Where the White Man Runs Away. We have no idea what it's about. However, it will be filmed inside Key-Food for the most part. And
Inside the
Key-
parking lot or inside the
in the store during the evening hours into the early morning hours. But while the store is closed, obviously, it'll be lit up and used for this film production. They are going to create some kind of a winter scene on the outside as part of their filming will take place outside.
That's this Saturday, by the way.
They are noticing all of the affected properties within 300 feet. They personally visited Mediterraneo. That was the only one we thought that would have an impact around Valentine's weekend for customers and the like. They're kind of interested in it. They think it's a okay idea. So
It's based on the nonfiction bestseller, The Pirates of Somalia. By
How do you get
Jay
from Somalia to the Key Food in Pleasantville, New York?
Behuder. Jay Behuder?
You know,
I don't know.
I don't know how to answer that. But the film stars Evan Peters,
Evan Peters from American Horror Story and X-Men?
or X-Men. So maybe low-budget independent feature film, but they seem to have,
So maybe this is, because I'm reading it. This is a story about a young journalist who daringly travels to Somalia to report on the hidden world of piracy in the East
stops
Africa.
at Key
So
Food
maybe
to
this
get-
is
He stops at Key
What, Pringles?
before he travels. He's at home and he's getting ready. I don't know.
I don't understand.
It
but,
should be
hey.
noted that the staging will involve Cooley Street parking lot.
Correct.
And the entire production will be taking place between the hours of 1 p.m. on Saturday, February 13th, that's this Saturday, overnight until 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, February 14th.
Yeah.
So he's
I mean,
closing
they
the
say
store?
low budget, but they're bringing over 30 vehicles, some big trailers. It's a production.
So
And he's
there's
going to
not-
close Key Foods at 1 p.m. on Saturday?
No, they're
No, they're just like starting their staging.
yeah.
Put
But
it
they
in
won't
cars.
be. They won't be where the parking is for Mediterraneo at night because that's a big night for them.
They'll be
They won't.
no.
Well, it'll be a
They
parking lot,
can't
just a
park
parking
on
lot.
that strip. They
The-
can't-
if
I'm not sure
it's
saying Cooley
big, yeah,
Street
but
is
it does
closed
Cooley
down.
Street, Cooley Street parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're-
but in
I
the
guess
back.
they're
Only
gonna.
the back. They're not taking
Okay.
the first
Okay.
two
Yeah, because
lanes.
that's a big night.
In fact,
for
Judy walked them back.
restaurants.
Right,
Judy
right.
walked
Some.
with them, showed them where.
You did?
We'll give them some
Okay.
parameters. But they've provided the insurance. They've provided all of the information we needed. They're doing the neighborhood notifications now. It's up to the board. If you're okay with it, and we're prepared to deal with you.
We are, the village is prepared.
Yeah.
Police and all.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
We get set passes,
As long as we
right?
don't have pirates
Sure,
running through
Steve?
downtown on Friday night, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm up.
No.
No, I did the last one. Steve's
okay,
up.
Steve's up.
Yeah. It's resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator, what?
Go ahead.
What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The village administrator to engage the services of BFJ for planning services.
Okay, so we're going to have to, Patty, we didn't receive this
No, I
is still
did
with
get
the
some
mayor, right?
correspondence back
so
from
should
the
we
mayor
table that?
about.
Yes, we're going to have to table
you.
that.
Why?
So this is,
Yeah, I'm confused.
Why do we have to table it?
Yeah, why do we have to
the
We don't
mayor
have the
doesn't
proposal
have
at this
the, we
point.
don't have a,
We need an engagement letter.
an
Yeah,
engagement.
we need a scope and we need
Yeah.
We don't have
a
a
budget.
This was going to be for
When were they
master
gonna
plan
get
Yes.
support.
This was to retain them for
Yes.
professional services to help with that limited scope review
Right.
of the master plan affecting Central Business District.
Right,
We're
so
still trying to
let me
hammer
explain
out
a little
how far
bit.
the scope would go and what the budget should be.
Right. We had a meeting, and we have been actually working on this for quite a long time to, we need to update our master plan pretty quickly because we have some great opportunities here, and we have a great little village that we need to bring into the 21st century. And we've had many conversations amongst this board, and we feel as if we should engage BFJ Planning in a small scope update of the downtown business district. And we had a lot of conversations of what we need to do, what we'd like to do. And unfortunately, at this point, we don't have the scope of services back yet. I think the mayor is still reviewing them. But as soon as we can get them, it would begin a whole process of planning for us that would require a lot of community input, a lot of vision and changes to some zoning that would help us to facilitate some great planning opportunities that we have here. So that's what this was about. And it's disappointing it's not on, but
I was going to say that. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that we sat down, I'm going to say 19 months ago, and had our initial discussion on this, and I think it's
Before me,
disappointing
yeah.
that because we don't have a piece of paper, we can't vote on this, which we should have voted on months ago. So,
Okay. And so, a master plan is an important part of any municipality in the respect that it is the, it speaks to your zoning, and it's a vision of how you see your village and how people can accordingly develop in your village and what people want developed in the village. And it's a comprehensive plan, and it's a living, breathing document that needs to be updated. Ours is it's 20 years old. We had a Marble Avenue corridor update in
We did that in-
'97,
We did a portion of an update in
Right.
'97, but
and then the one prior to that is early '90s. It's old. We need to update it. But it's just, you could see what can actually happen when we had the Marble Avenue corridor update. All of the great things that have taken place on Marble Avenue since that time, and it was because of that update, it really helped us to frame how we see that corridor. So these are the kind of things that we're doing. So unfortunately, we have to table this at this
So are we
moment.
pulling it or tabling it?
So I
don't
pull
know
it, do I
difference,
rescind
to
the,
tell you truth.
I mean, I made the motion, right? What do I?
Actually, the mayor wanted me to pull it and renumber, but you had already started reading it, so I think at this point, Patty, we'll just have to, it's a table, right?
So I have, Steve, you moved it.
I
Just need
moved
a
it.
Second?
Second?
Okay, now you can do a motion to table.
Do I do it as the mover?
Doesn't matter.
All right, so make a motion
Thank
to
you.
table the resolution.
And I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
On the motion to table.
On the motion to table, correct. Okay, number 21, Colleen.
resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Sarah Koulis, did I say that correctly? Koulouris, sorry. 177 Manville Road to erect a fence on the village's right-of-way, and further authorizes the village administrator to prepare and sign said agreement.
And I have a second?
Second.
Second, Patty, you want to explain this?
yeah, I gave some backup information in the packet. This is a request, unlike, like others we've received, for the use of public right-of-way for particular purposes that are not permanent, such as fences or hedges or walkways and stones or mailboxes and lamplights that people may have, and portions of rights-of-way that look like lawn. That sometimes we have streets that have 50-foot public rights-of-way, but the pavements are only 20 feet, and people like to do things on their property. We received this request for specific reasons, to be able to assist in some opportunity to expand a perimeter fence around the property. Mostly due in part to, I believe, the configuration of your driveway, which is going to require some fencing, so the driveway does not become an access point from the house for children to leave the driveway area and to go out into the street. So in order to put a fence in the right spot to be able to open that fence, there needs to be about a 4-foot encroachment into right-of-way. It's pretty similar to encroachment agreements we've given out in the past. There's nothing extraordinary here. What will be required is some insurance from the homeowner in case that there's some incident involving the fence on public right-of-way. It's not a permanent right. It does not run with the land. So at any time the village feels it needs to use that right-of-way for public purposes, you'd have to move the fence.
Unlike a variance would be a more permanent, and that would be what you would think that this would go toward.
Correct.
Patty and I had a discussion about this, but because it's temporary, it comes to us, the town board, versus going to the zoning board of appeals. So,
Right,
I
it
don't
doesn't
think
create a land use right. We don't file it with the
Right.
deed. It doesn't run with the land. It's just it's alive as long as the village, basically
Right.
authorizes it.
Okay.
It's totally at the homeowner's expense to take on the project, to indemnify us for anything that may happen. The location, even though it encroaches 4 feet into public property, still leaves an expansive part of public right-of-way for people to walk. It's a corner lot, so it doesn't present any impediments. On the corner itself, there will be a reason to angle the fence a little bit. You probably had heard that
Right.
discussion. This for site clearance for people coming down the street, and that's done. notoriously at corner intersections where you see there may be a sight line issue. But from an administrative point of view, we have no concerns about it.
Okay. Is there any comments, questions?
I do.
Okay.
We just got this material. We haven't had a work session. I know Ms. Koulouris, is that your name?
Yeah, we need to correct
here,
this is her
And,
name's misspelled on
and
the
I would like to. I'd
resolution.
like to have a work. She's here. I'd like to have a work session and ask her about it. And there's some issues that I have in my mind that may not be issues at all. But I'd like to have a work session. So from my perspective, I'd like to make a motion to table this, even to maybe later this evening. I mean, but we can have a conversation and we can talk about
Well,
the issues that I
she
have.
could come up now and answer your questions. It would be hard to table it later this
It's all right with
evening.
me if you want to do. If you're willing to do that in public.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Because we're on television, but it's fine with me. So why don't you come on up and I read. Yeah.
Just say your name for us and your
And your
address.
address.
Sure, it's Sarah Koulouris, 177 Manville Road, Pleasantville.
I read your letter, and I'm very sympathetic to your situation. And
Right.
clearly, there's no reason not to be. And a 4-foot encroachment on a 14-foot thing with all that extra space, that doesn't concern me
Okay.
at all.
Right.
And I saw the picture of you have an existing area that's fenced in your backyard.
Just the backyard,
So you're
yes.
going to be using that same fencing.
Exactly the same
Wrap it all the way
fencing.
around, right?
Right, it'll just come off the current fence and just go around the perimeter of the
So,
property.
so here's what struck me though is you're planning to do something that I think is different than anybody else that I know with a fence, which is to fence your driveway.
The house on the opposite side of us also has a fenced driveway as well.
Okay.
On the other side of the Lutheran church on Manville, right, on the Manville side of the road, there's
The
the
one that
Lutheran
sits
church.
up on the hill.
Yeah, with the blue house.
I know. Okay, in McPhee's. Right.
They
So-
do. You're right.
Right. So to my mind, I see it as I don't know of anybody else. I mean, I didn't realize the McPhee's had a fence across their driveway, but
Right.
anybody else. I'm wondering how your neighbors might feel about it. Have they spoken to you about it? Are you friendly with them? What I really am concerned about on situations like this
Right.
is somebody comes and says, she put a fence across her driveway and it doesn't look good and I don't like it and why'd you let her do that? And, I
There's
don't want
also
that.
on Manville. There's a number of houses that have gates across the driveway. There's another house on the opposite side of Manville, on the same side as BRS, that's kind of diagonally across from us. It's a blue house. Their driveway actually exits onto Manville. They have a gated driveway
is
as
that
well.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
Same, almost to the same exact style fence that we're looking
I'm
to
very
put
familiar
up
with the
there.
neighborhood, but I never took notice of that fact.
Yeah.
And I was wondering though why
Sure.
you want to gate your driveway rather than turn the fence in and bring it to the house so that like your cars could go straight in and into your garage or whatever. Why do you want to gate your driveway?
The garage is not functional. It's too small for either one of our cars to fit in.
Oh, yeah,
The
it's
house
an
was
old
built,
one.
in 1930,
That's
so
the same
that
thing.
doesn't fit.
Don't build
There
cars
has
like they
been
used to.
times where it's an electric garage door opener that if my son has access and presses the button, he could get out of the garage door. So while it's not convenient for us pulling in and out of the driveway, having to open a gate, it's what we have to do in order to keep him safe. It doesn't make sense to fence just the front and to leave the side and the garage open, or just to leave the garage open. And we have to enclose the whole thing.
And so you understand that that whole fence side along Academy
Yes.
is encroaching.
Yes.
And its purpose is obviously to protect your son.
Exactly.
And so he's the reason for the fence, and he's the reason for it being where it's located, and I understand
Right.
that. But would you have an issue if we put specific language in there that if there ever came a time when he no longer lived in the house?
Sure.
There could be a day when he gets older, when maybe he's living elsewhere. You're still living in the house.
Right.
That the fence would have to be moved, whichever if the village wanted to.
Sure. No, that's fine. We hope that that's the case, that one day he'll be able to live elsewhere. At this point, unless there's some kind of medical miracle, he's pretty disabled. So we anticipate him being with us for the remainder of our lives and his at this point. Which is why it's really imperative for us kind of to keep him safe. Like I had stated in the letter, when we looked at the house, first of all, because of my husband's work schedule, we looked, on the weekends, there was no school traffic. And we were also under the impression that when we bought this house that he was actually going to go to the school across the street. It didn't occur to us that he was going to be too severe for the district to be able to help him. and to choose to send him to a private program. So we never took into account that we'd be sitting in the front of the house for 20 minutes, 30 minutes waiting for a bus to get down Manville in rush hour school traffic. And you know, it's terrifying. He's this big, he can dart in between a car and he'll run into the street and nobody would see him.
And we would have the option anyway, right? I mean, whether he was there.
I think
Right,
that's
but
already
village
in
would always-
the, it's already in the language.
Yeah, but what could happen is 20 years from now, this kid's growing up, he's 26 years old, and you'll be older, and your husband will be older, and you place him in a living situation. The village is not going to remember. Nobody's going to know anything. You know, the agreement should say something about it. That's all I'm saying. You're right. The village could at any time say, "Hey, you got to take
Why
that
would it
fence
have to
down."
say so? I'm not following
It's
that. Why would it have to
temporary
say-
anyway.
Yeah.
The agreement is written in a way. I mean, it could be more specific, maybe that.
I think it should say if this young man doesn't live in the house anymore, the fence should be moved off of the village's right of way. That's all.
I mean, but are we going to really follow up on something like that?
Maybe not.
I feel like why would we
Well-
put language in something unless we were really going to?
because that's the intent. That's all. It may be 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, we may not be living in the village anymore. I don't know. It could be another
But if we
board.
ever needed
there-
access to that, we would just, you know.
We would just notify the homeowner. Every encroachment agreement we enter into says the village has the absolute right and its sole discretion to terminate the agreement upon reasonable notice, which is typically 30 days.
Right, but
Depending on what the encroachment is.
when you have an encroachment for a parking space, everybody who lives in that house needs that parking space. This owner, the next owner, the next owner, the next owner. So the parking space serves a function that serves the house. This is different. This is a function
It is
that
different.
serves an individual. And with all good, I mean, I have no issue with you know the idea of a fence. I just think that it should say so. That's all. If you disagree, that's okay. We can all disagree. I just think the agreement should say when your son doesn't live in the house anymore, the fence should be removed.
Because I mean, I don't think that the McPhee's or anybody else has an agreement like that, and nor do they have the same need, but they have.
But
the
they're
same
not
thing.
encroaching on village property either. That's the
The
thing.
driveways go to the planning commission because they really do get, more of a permanent use of public property than fences or hedges. And we really have a lot of these. Maybe, that's part of the issue that, to me, they're so commonplace. We have a lot of them, but we don't specify what they're for. We just allow people to encroach for fencing or for hedging, and that type of.
And a driveway goes to curb cut.
Yeah.
Well, look,
usually
I
goes
said
to
what I
planning.
think. That's all. It's okay.
No,
with
that's
me.
fine.
I'm
But
not- I'm not gonna
Patty,
beat the issue to death. It's-
for the record, if we, we could, of course, Joe, your comments will be added to the record. But I defer to you, Patty, if those are our normal,
We've never conditioned them to time them to terminate, other than the
Right.
village's
When you
desire
need
to
it.
terminate it.
So,
Yeah,
all right. So
it's just
so
easier
then,
for us to administer it. But I respect, the opinion. But
Okay,
I just
yeah.
don't think
I
it's
Now,
just-
then
easy for
I
me
if
to
you
feel
were
like
to
a
move
neighbor
out
could
of the
easily then
house-
put up another fence that goes that matches the same line and without the same reason.
We'll make sure you question.
If the
no,
if the
no,
house
it's
is
a real
subsequently
concern.
sold,
Yes.
then this,
Change the character of a
this variance
neighborhood
does
when you
not
start
carry
letting
over
things
to the
go.
new owners, right? So those people would need to come and get a
That's
renewed.
correct.
Well, it's not a variance. I take that back.
It's
This
No, it's not a
temporary
variance.
permission
It's
would be then,
between the village and
and this
and
homeowner.
this homeowner.
Correct.
the
That's right.
homeowners of record.
So they would need to come back here and get. If they wanted to keep it, they would need to get it renewed.
Yes.
Essentially. Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank you. I didn't mean to grill you. I just
No,
I
that's
just,
fine.
you know,
It's, I know it's
questions
kind of an
I don't know.
unusual
Points are good to be raised.
circumstance.
They are. Yeah.
that was great. Anybody else have any other questions?
No,
Okay,
just
thank
we
you
need
very
to
much.
correct
Thank you.
her name.
Yeah, it was misspelled in the
I know,
resolution.
that's why.
somewhere.
Oh, my,
Yeah, it was-
my last name?
Yeah, it's
Spelling?
misspelled.
We
There's
had it
no
wrong
R
on
in
the
it.
resolution.
Oh, do you want me to?
No, we
spell
got it.
Oh, we have it in your other on your other.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
So we had a second.
We did.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
We're good.
And 20. I don't even remember who read the last one.
Trustee Storgiati.
I do
Would
the
that-
last one was done by
Who read?
I read it.
right.
Okay. So
You're
go ahead,
up.
So
Joe.
I'm
We have
Have
those.
some
before.
memory. We need to have some memory.
No, that-
vitamins or
because
something
yeah.
on this board.
Sorry.
Because we're moving at such a rapid pace, I think we're.
resolved that the Board of Trustees has
forgot where we
reviewed the
were.
minutes of the meeting held on
Good
Monday,
night.
January 25th, 2016, and they are hereby approved.
Second.
Second.
Comments, questions? None? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Patty, we have no executive session.
We have have no executive session.
Okay, so we are
Unless the
going
board
to.
has a-
No, we have nothing to discuss.
Could we have a could I have a motion to close the
So
meeting?
moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night, everybody.
Good
Be
night.
careful, it's very
Safe
bad
home.
outside.
Roads are really, really rough.
It's getting a
Okay.
little icy.